Hi, my name is Juan Gil. I'm with Andres Aguilera. We are really happy to share this experience with you. It's about how to develop leadership among our students using real cases, real company cases. So the first question we asked in our university was how to develop emergent leadership. We think emergent leadership is really important because those are the leaders who inspire, who are followed, even though they don't have authority, like a formal authority. That's why we start looking for how to do it. And we realized that one of the reasons why different universities, different companies are putting effort on it is because first they have realized that for entrepreneurs it will make easier the building of the company. The second one is a key element when they are working on self-managed teams, which is what they will have to do. The third one, whenever they have their company created, that will help them to increase their productivity, to lower the cost. And finally, thinking about our globalized world, thinking about global value chain, thinking about how they will have to interact in different parts of the world by having global virtual teams, we realized that also emergent leadership was really important on these kind of teams. The second question we asked was how to develop this emergent leadership. And by doing some research, we realized that X-Culture platform was a really good setting. X-Culture was created by Professor Bas Taras from North Carolina University. And the reason why he created this program was that he wanted to give a real-life experience to his international business student. He realized that for them to be successful in real world, they needed to face real world challenges. They needed to be able to work with real companies. And also, because they are doing international business, they needed to be able to work with people from other countries. That's why Professor Taras and other professors, they join together and they start looking for these companies and putting these students to work together. This idea has evolved into X-Culture. So how X-Culture works? It's a platform where you enroll your students, is around 5,000 students every semester enrolled to X-Culture from around 40 different countries. So a typical group from X-Culture might be, for example, from one person from Colombia, one person from India, one person from the US, one person from China, one person from Italy. And among these 5 students, they have to work to solve a real challenge proposed by a real company. They also have the chance to talk with the CEO of the company to understand properly the company. And in the end, the outcome is a consultancy proposal for the company and like a proposal for the company to internationalize this company. So we think it's a really good context for our students. Why? Because the first reason is in these teams, none of them have a formal authority. That's why we're looking that our students emerge as leaders among this intercultural group. Having the idea of developing emerging leadership in our university, having the right context, the third thing we needed to do was to create a plan of how to actually do it. So the way we did it was that we started doing some research to try to understand the drivers that lead to have an emergent leader. And we realized that there are 4 aspects, 4 items that we needed to develop in our student. The first skill was emotional intelligence, because they need to talk, to have a relation with other people. They needed to have this skill. The second one was cultural intelligence, because they have to work with people from other countries. They needed to understand their culture and be able to communicate, be able to lead, to be able to manage these people according to their culture. The third one was the knowledge, the internationalization knowledge, in order to give valuable ideas, to give valuable solutions for the company. And the final one was assertive communication. Even though the challenge has to be developed in English, and in our country, our university, our mother language is Spanish, they needed to have to develop this English communication skills to be able to handle those groups. The second thing we did was that we realized that we couldn't develop emerging leaders in only one class, in only one module. We needed to start developing those skills in several classes. That's why we worked together with other 6 classes. Those are international logistics, strategies for internationalization, international finance, intercultural negotiation, international marketing, and exporting and importing process. So what actually we are presenting today is not only our experience as teachers, it's also the experience from other teachers and in other classes from our university. And finally, we developed a three-step plan in order to work with X culture. The first part is a pre-training module. In this part, what we wanted to do with our students was to give them tools, different tools, so they could be able to handle this challenge like a consultancy. The second part was during the X culture challenge, we were focusing a lot on those soft skills, not only on the solution, on giving value on the solution, but also on what was going on among the team, with the team. So for instance, at the beginning, some students were saying, I don't know, for cultural differences with the person from Malaysia, we are not understanding well what they need, what they want. But I don't know, in the week 3, they actually get what they were trying to say because they have developed the cultural intelligence. So in the end of the 8 weeks, what we realized is that they, not only, most of them, and we will show you the results, have been emerged as a leader, but also they have understand, most of them, and they have created good relation. They were able to put in practice all these other skills that an entrepreneur need to be successful in real life. And finally, because we need to have a feedback from X culture, a feedback from our students to understand if what we were trying to do, we were accomplishing it, we were having a feedback session.
Hi, my name is Andres Aguilera, and I'd like to continue with the presentation that we have developed with Professor Juan M. Gil. As Juan Manuel said, we have been working with this project for the last 2 years, and we noticed that our students need to develop different skills beside the regular training that they have received in our classes. As Professor Juan Manuel said, our students gather the information from other classes and we implement this in our class called International Trade. International Trade is a class that we developed in order to apply the X Culture Challenge. As seen, the X Culture project looks for the students to develop consultancy skills in a real context. So X Culture is the optimal scenario so students implement the knowledge that they have learned in classes and they can work with peers from other countries. Basically what we did is we entered the X Culture Challenge in 2017 in the first semester, and that was the baseline for analyzing the performance of our students. In order to promote emerging leadership with our students, we have developed certain steps our students can develop emerging leadership. One of the things that we created was a toolbox in which our students have different concepts and different databases that they could use in order to address the challenge. Also, before the real challenge, we created a mock challenge in which we separated our students locally and asked them to implement the principles of X culture with their teammates from Universidad EAN. So later in the real challenge, they could use all these skills in the real challenge with a real company. Also, we were very strict about the pre-project preparation, in which our students had to understand what were the expectations of the X Culture Challenge and also get to know what were the possible pitfalls that they need to overcome as a team. We developed a mentoring program with previous semester students and with professors that could give the students additional information and more tools in order to address the challenges presented by the client organizations. Another aspect that we did was we assigned a 50% grade of the X-Culture Challenge. The rationale behind this was that X-Culture takes around 9 weeks of our semester. Our semester in Universidad EAN is 18 weeks, so it was 50% of the time, and it is a lot of work. That's why we decided, alongside Professor Juan Manuel, to assign a 50% of the grade, of the total grade, so students have the incentive to work harder in order to achieve the objectives of this challenge. Additionally, we created something called Profe Puntos, which incentivize our students to collaborate and gather important information that help other students to fulfill the challenge. This was a very important tool because we had like a cloud in which students could upload the important information. It could be databases, it could be resources, it could be infographics that help other students in order to achieve the objective presented by the client organization. Our students from Universidad EAN participated for the first time in the X-Culture Challenge in 2017. As you can see in the graph, the participation and the performance of our students were pretty close to the average of the remaining of the team. After seeing this performance, we introduced some tweaks and some changes to the preparation and to the implementation of our class, and we noticed significant changes in the performance of the leadership indicator and the average review from their students. How did we get this data? The students from different universities did a weekly survey in which they were asked about the different qualities of their peers, including communication, quality of the ideas, and the leadership skills that they demonstrated. We also saw in the results that our students performed way better after the implementation of these changes in the conducting of our classes. As a result, in 2017, in the second semester, 2 of our students were finalists among the best reports of the semester. As we go to the next year, in 2018, we noticed that the implementation of these class strategies develop emergent leadership, as you can see in the indicator. The leadership indicator, you can see that the Universidad EAN students were higher than the remaining of the Colombian universities and the remaining of the PAC. Additionally, in 2018, the first semester, 7 of our students were finalists among the best reports, and 1 of our students were among the top and the best report of the whole semester. In 2018, we continued with this strategy and we improved the toolbox, and we saw that the indicator for leadership and the average peer review remain higher than the average and higher than the remaining X-Culture participants. As a result, we also achieved that 3 of our students were among the finalists of the best reports. Not only the good performance were for the students, but our professor, in this case Professor Juan Manuel Gil, was selected as one of the best instructors in the X-Culture Challenge. I was also selected as one of the best instructors of the X-Culture Challenge. After reviewing the performance of our students, we decided to do an ex-post survey in which we asked our students if they were picked as leaders because of the knowledge and the skills that they have developed during our classes. That was in order to add complexity to our analysis and not only rely on the quantitative data given by X-Culture, but we needed to know the feeling of our students in order to their approach to the challenge. Most of them answered that because of their knowledge and because of their preparation and because of the skills that they have developed during our classes, they were picked as leaders of their team. In our survey, we asked our students about their level of satisfaction with the X-Culture experience. Around 82% considered that it was very satisfying or extremely satisfying regarding their experience. It is part of the meaningful learning experience that we want to develop among our students, and in order to create leadership and additional skills that will help our students to accomplish their goals. In summary, we can say that the participation of our students in the X-Culture Challenge have enriched the overall experience in our university. Our students got the opportunity to work in a real work challenge, working as a consultant for real companies in a multicultural environment. Our students participated in global virtual teams for around 9 weeks in which they had to develop strategies and ideas so their client organization could thrive in the economy. Among the results, we see that our students got better indicators regarding leadership and the average peer review, way above our peers in Colombia and above the overall average of the X-Culture experience. We think that X-Culture is a great opportunity for students to improve their abilities and improve their overall skills and develop emerging leadership among their peers.